Hey y'all, how you doing today? Just wanted to talk to you about something that I just thought of recently. Um, since we do live in Texas, I want to share with you the pros and cons of living in Texas while homesteading. Um, don't get me wrong, I love living in Texas, but there are some downsides to the good sides. So let me go ahead and explain those to you. One of the pros of living in Texas while homesteading is the temperature year round. Because of our winters don't get as cold as other places in the country, it makes it a lot easier to do a fall garden, provided you actually get it going. In the late summer and early fall, you can probably get a good produce from your fall garden here. Last year we just didn't quite get to it, so hopefully this year we can. We'll see, since we are having a young one in September. We'll see how much we can actually get done with that. Another aspect of the temperatures here in Texas is one of the cons, in that in the summer it gets really hot. Now, temperature wise, we don't get as hot as, say, like Arizona, who can get into the 110s, 120s, but we get to around 100 or above 100 with humidity, which makes it feel really hot, which kind of doesn't help with the animals, because when you have animals, yeah, you can give them all the water that they can have. You can give them plenty of shade, but you don't know how they're going to react to things, and they aren't always the smartest. And so they may lay in areas where they start to get overheated but don't realize it, and they could possibly die if you can't catch it soon enough. So the heat is always a struggle here in the homestead in Texas, because, again, as I said, you can give them all the water they need, you can give them a ventilated area, but you can't control where the animal's going to go, and that that can be a downside for that. Another thing is, if you have rabbits, like this dude, and some of the other ones that we have, you could, in the summer months, it's going to be really hard to breed these guys, because the males can go sterile because of the heat, and so the best time to breed them is when it's in the 80s, preferably mid to low 80s. But if we wait too long into May, I would say, even maybe even into April, depending on how the temperatures are going that year, we can get into the upper 80s as soon as late April. So it's just one of those things. We just always have to keep an eye on the weather, see what the temperature is going to be, so we can figure out when we can breed. So another pro and con to Texas homesteading is how much sun we get. We get a lot of sun during the year, which is a good thing, because plants need sun, animals need sun, we need sun to soak up those vitamins and minerals that it gives us. Sorry, vitamins that it gives us. Because we can soak up those vitamins that the sun gives us. We can be out in the sun for too long, which I know can happen anywhere. But we just want to make sure we don't overexpose ourselves, just like for our plants. We don't want them to be overexposed to sunlight, because they can start to wither, and that's not good, especially in our Texas heat. It makes that process go quicker, and they can die quicker. So we just got to keep an eye on them and notice if they need water or not. And it's better to water in the mornings, not midday or evenings, because it got so hot we don't want that water to evaporate too soon. So as I was saying earlier about having a good production of produce, you can have that in Texas throughout the year, and it's just one of those things that's nice because then you're growing your food all year long. You can do it outside more, which can be a good thing because then it's exposed to the outside elements. And sorry, there's a big huge bird that flew by. It exposes it to the elements, which means it's getting more minerals and more vitamins through the air that otherwise, if you have it in a greenhouse, you won't have it as much because air is not circulating as much as if it's outside with all the wind and if it does rain, it brings those vitamins and minerals to the plants that way too. Now here in the area we're at, it does get kind of windy for a good chunk of the year, which kind of surprised me for where we are. I can understand down by the coastline, in the hill country, but where we're at, you would think that it wouldn't be as windy as, say, other places in Texas. So it's just one of those things that it's like, okay. It's nice because then it lets us have a little break from the heat. So another pro and con of homesteading in Texas is the types of plants we can grow. There's a lot that we can grow in our area, just because our frost isn't as long as other places, and it also doesn't start as early as other places, which makes it nice. But at the same time, we do get a little bit of frost, so we just gotta figure out what plants work best in our area. But as I said, there are a lot of plants that work really good here in Texas. Now we also have to have heat hardy plants because it does get so hot here, and they got to be able to tolerate the heat and a lot of sun. If your area doesn't have a lot of shade, we've found some plants that we weren't sure if we were gonna do well, and they do really well, and then other ones that we think are going to do well, they don't do as well. So we find plants that do well here in our area, and when we do find that, we save those seeds, and we are able to keep seeds that are heat tolerant, that can be in the sun, like straight sun exposure, for long periods of time, and they do well. So I'm glad for that, because then we get a good produce from those types of plants, and it just helps us to grow our own food, so that we're not having to go and buy it from the store as much, and be able to know that what we're putting in our body is good for us, and and we know that these plants aren't GMO, and that they're not sprayed with pesticides that we grow in our own gardens, because we're not using any pesticides or even herbicides. So we're just letting the plants grow naturally, as much as possible, and that hopefully will give us a good produce. And we just got to be aware of our environment around us, and be able to tell when certain things are going good and when things are not going good, which on any homestead, that's what you have to do. You got to be observant on things around you, no matter if you're growing vegetables, growing fruits, growing animals, or should I say raising animals. So hope you guys got a little tidbit of information from this video, and hope you guys have a blessed day. Catch you guys tomorrow. Cloudhoppers, thanks for watching the video. Push the thumbs up to like the video. Also hit that subscribe button, also the bell, so that you can get notifications when our videos come out.
Check us out on our social media pages too. We have Facebook and Pinterest, and soon we'll have Instagram. The links are below. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Good job.